There is something happening right now that you cannot fully explain. You feel it in the silence between your thoughts. You feel it in the moments when your mind drifts toward that person without warning, without invitation, as if something invisible is pulling your awareness in their direction. And the strangest part is that it does not feel random. It never did. There is something underneath this connection that operates beyond what the mind can rationalize, beyond what logic can touch. And if you are here watching this right now, it is because that something is asking you to pay attention. I am Madame Tina, a spiritual guide and intuitive reader who has dedicated her path to helping souls like yours navigate the deeper currents of energy, karma, and soul connection. I work within the language of archetypes, cosmic cycles, and the invisible threads that bind people across time and distance. And what I am about to share with you in this video is one of the most powerful spiritual dynamics I have ever witnessed in the Scorpio energy field. In this video, I am going to reveal what is truly happening between you and that specific person on an energetic and spiritual level. I am going to show you why this connection never faded, why your energy has been reaching them even in your silence, and why something is finally shifting in a way that cannot be ignored. Stay with me until the very end, because what I share in the final part of this reading is something you genuinely need to hear. If this kind of deep spiritual truth speaks to you, if you crave messages that cut through the surface and reach the part of you that already knows, then make sure you subscribe to this channel. I bring readings and spiritual revelations here regularly, and each one is designed to meet you exactly where you are in your journey. Subscribe now so you never miss a message that was meant for you. And before we go deeper, I want to ask you something personal. Scorpio, have you ever chosen silence as a form of protection, stepped back, disappeared into yourself, only to feel that the distance actually made your energy stronger, not weaker? If that has ever been your experience, I want you to write it in the comments below. Tell me what it felt like to pull back and still feel the connection burning. Your words matter here, and they may reflect exactly what someone else is too afraid to say out loud. Now let us enter the truth of what is happening. There is a reason Scorpio is one of the most misunderstood archetypes in the entire spiritual landscape. The world looks at you and sees intensity, sees walls, sees someone who is guarded and difficult to reach. But that is only the surface. What lives beneath that surface is something far more extraordinary. Scorpio carries one of the deepest energetic signatures in existence. Your energy does not simply exist in a room, it occupies it. It does not simply reach people, it seeps into them, settles into their awareness, and refuses to leave quietly. And that specific person you have been thinking about, they know this now. Not with their mind, perhaps, but with something older and deeper than thought. There are people in this world who can walk away from a Scorpio energetically and find peace on the other side. And then there are people who cannot. No matter how much time passes, no matter how much distance is placed between you, the energy finds them. It surfaces in dreams. It rises in quiet moments. It appears in the form of a thought that arrives without context, a feeling that has no clear origin. And that is exactly what is happening to them right now. Something cracked open in their energetic field recently. A wall came down, a layer dissolved, a frequency shifted. And in that shift, your energy rushed in like water through an opening, not aggressively, not forcefully, but with the quiet and undeniable weight of something that was always meant to reach them. This is not a coincidence. This is not the result of surface-level emotion or fleeting nostalgia. What is happening between your two energetic fields right now is a spiritual event. It is a recognition happening at the level of the soul, beneath the surface of every excuse, every distance, every silence that was placed between you. And you have felt it too, have you not? There has been a change in the atmosphere around this connection. Something that felt heavy or distant has begun to move. Something that felt sealed has begun to open. You may not have the words for it yet, but your body knows. Your intuition knows. The part of you that has always known the truth about this connection, that part is fully awake right now. Before we continue, let me ask you a question. Do you know what moon reading is? It's a personalized astrological reading that reveals how the position of the moon impacts your life, your feelings, and even your biggest dreams. Want to uncover these secrets about yourself? Get your free moon reading now. Just click the link in the description to receive your personal chart in minutes. Take this chance to connect with the stars and start your journey of self-discovery. To understand what is unfolding, you need to understand something about the way Scorpio energy functions in the invisible world. Most people think of energy as something passive, something that simply exists around a person like a quiet aura. But Scorpio energy is not passive. It is active, it is alive, it moves, seeks, and operates with intention, even when the Scorpio themselves is not consciously directing it. This is one of the sacred gifts of your archetype, and it is also one of the reasons your connections never truly end when others walk away from them. When a Scorpio loves, invests in, or deeply connects with someone, an energetic cord is formed. Not a cord of weakness or dependency, but a cord of soul recognition. A thread woven from something that existed before this lifetime and that continues to pulse with life regardless of what happens in the physical world. That cord has been active between you and this specific person this entire time, even in the silence, even in the distance, even in the moments when you thought you had released them and moved beyond the weight of what you shared. That cord does not disappear because of logic. It does not dissolve because of time. It dissolves only when both souls have completed what they came together to learn, when the karma between them has been fully honored and transformed. And right now, the energy you are receiving as a Scorpio is telling me clearly that the karma between you and this person is not finished. It is not done. In fact, it is entering one of its most significant chapters. Let me tell you what happened on their end. There was a moment, and it likely occurred very recently, where something in their life cracked the armor they had been carrying. It may have come in the form of a loss, a realization, a failed attempt to replace what they felt with you, or simply a quiet night where the noise inside them finally went still, and what remained in that stillness was the memory of your energy. In that moment, they felt something they could not name, a warmth that did not belong to their current circumstances, a pull that had no logical source. And whether they admitted it consciously or not, they knew exactly where it was coming from. Your energy reached them because your energy never left. That is the part no one tells you about being a Scorpio. You do not simply affect the people who come into your field. You become part of them. Your frequency embeds itself in their experience in ways that cannot be undone by choice or by distance. And when someone has truly felt the depth of what you carry, the absence of that depth becomes a kind of ache they cannot explain to themselves or to anyone else. This is not about power over another person. This is not about control or manipulation. This is about the sacred nature of deep soul connection and the way it functions outside the rules of ordinary human experience. The universe is not playing games with you here. What is shifting in this connection carries weight, carries purpose, carries the fingerprints of something that was designed long before either of you drew your first breath in this lifetime. You chose silence at some point. You chose to withdraw, to protect yourself, to stop fighting for something that seemed to be pulling away. And in doing so, you did something that most people do not realize carries immense spiritual power. You allowed the universe to carry what you could no longer hold, and the universe received it. And now it is returning it to you, amplified, clarified, and charged with the energy of everything you released into the silence. The question is not whether this person feels you. They do. The question is what you are meant to do with that awareness. And that is where the deeper truth of this reading begins to unfold. There is a layer to Scorpio's spiritual journey that most people never speak about honestly, and it is time to bring it into the light. The Scorpio archetype is not simply about intensity, passion, or mystery, although all of those things are present. At the deepest level, Scorpio is about transformation through surrender. Not the kind of surrender that signals defeat, the kind of surrender that signals readiness. The kind of surrender that says, I am willing to stop controlling the form this must take and trust the depth of what this truly is. You have been holding something about this connection very tightly inside of you, a version of how it should look, a version of how it should have gone, a grief perhaps about what was not said, what was not chosen, what slipped through your hands before you could understand what you were holding. And all of that holding, all of that internal tension has been part of your energetic signature in this connection. It has been part of the transmission your soul has been sending into the field you share with this person. But something has begun to shift inside of you as well, not just inside of them. You have been releasing, slowly, quietly, and sometimes without even noticing it. You have been letting go of the version of the story that caused you pain and beginning to make space for the version that is actually trying to reach you. That internal shift in you is what triggered the shift in their energy field. This is how soul connections work. When one person evolves, the cord between them vibrates at a new frequency, and the other person feels it, whether they are consciously aware of the source or not. This is the part of your journey that requires a new kind of trust. Not the naive trust that says everything will work out exactly as I imagined. The sacred trust that says, I do not need to understand the full picture right now. I only need to stay true to what I feel, stay aligned with my own depth, and allow what is meant for me to find its way through. That is not passive. That is one of the most spiritually powerful positions a Scorpio can stand in. Because when a Scorpio releases control and steps into trust, the universe responds with a force that is unmistakable. You have been carrying this connection in silence for a reason. Silence is not emptiness for Scorpio, it is incubation. It is the space where the deepest transformations happen, where the soul does its most important work without the interference of noise or performance. The silence you chose, the withdrawal you chose, was not a retreat from this connection. It was a consecration of it. You handed it over to something greater than your personal will, and that something has been working with it ever since. Now the energy is returning, not in chaos, not in the explosion you might have once feared or hoped for, but in a quiet and unmistakable current that is beginning to move through both of your lives simultaneously. You can feel it in the way your thoughts of this person have changed recently. There is less pain in them now, less urgency, less desperation. What remains is something cleaner, something more certain, something that feels less like longing and more like knowing. That shift from longing to knowing is one of the most significant spiritual indicators in any soul connection. It means the emotional wound around this connection is healing. It means you are beginning to perceive this bond from a higher vantage point, not from the place of what you lost or what you fear, but from the place of what you are, what you carry, and what was written for you before this life began. And from that place, everything looks different. From that place, the return of this energy is not a surprise. It is simply the next chapter arriving on time. This project is not monetized on YouTube yet. Your voluntary support helps me continue creating content. Please support through the Buy Me a Coffee link in the description. Let me speak to you now about what comes next, because this is the part of the reading that carries the most weight. The part that the Scorpio soul needs to receive clearly and without distortion. The energy that is moving between you and this specific person right now is building towards something, not dissolving towards something, not fading, not circling endlessly without resolution, building. There is a convergence point ahead in this connection, and the universe is preparing both of you for it in ways that are happening simultaneously, even if your paths have not visibly crossed yet. What does this convergence look like? It will not look like what you imagined when you were in the deepest part of your pain around this. It will not come with drama or desperation or the emotional noise of two unhealed people trying to fill a void. It will come quietly and with a kind of clarity that you will recognize immediately because it will feel like relief, like finally, like something settling into place that was meant to be there all along. That is the signature of a true soul convergence, not fireworks built on instability, but a deep and calm recognition that this was never truly gone. It was only waiting. But here is what the universe needs you to understand before that moment arrives. The version of you who will meet this person on the other side of this shift cannot be the version who was waiting in fear, holding tight, counting days, and measuring the distance between what is and what was. The version of you who is called forward into this next chapter is the Scorpio who has fully inhabited their own power, the one who has done the inner work, released the wounds, and no longer defines their worth by the presence or absence of this person in their life. This is the spiritual preparation the universe is asking of you right now, not as punishment, not as a test designed to break you, as an invitation, as a calling. You are being asked to step so fully into the depths of who you are that when this person finally turns toward you, what they meet is not your longing, not your history of pain, not the echo of what you were before the silence. What they meet is the fullness of what you have become through everything you have survived and transformed. You have always been powerful, but Scorpio power that has passed through darkness, that has traveled through loss and silence and internal fire, that power is something different entirely. That is the kind of power that changes rooms when it walks in. That is the kind of power that reaches people across time and distance without a single word spoken. That is the power you have been building, perhaps without even knowing it, every single moment of this journey. The universe does not bring energies back into alignment without purpose. There is something this connection is still meant to create, to heal, to complete, or to begin in an entirely new form. And the timing of this shift, the fact that their energy is cracking open right now, the fact that you are here receiving this message in this moment, none of it is accidental. None of it is noise. All of it is signal. Trust the depth of what you carry, Scorpio. Trust the fire that never went out even when everything around it went dark. Trust the silence that kept this alive when surface level emotion would have destroyed it. You were never waiting passively. You were transforming. And now the transformation is bearing fruit in ways that are about to become undeniable in your waking life. The energy has shifted. The door that felt sealed is no longer sealed. And you, standing fully in your power and in your truth, are exactly where you were always meant to be when it opened. This is not the end of your story with this soul. It is the beginning of its truest chapter, and you are ready.